Good. Wagner often uses the flute to signify women and also magic. And so this is a very characteristic Wagner flute solo because it's both about magic and about women. Elsa has been saved by this mysterious swan knight named Lohengrin, who's the son of Parsifal, and he has arrived mysteriously on a swan boat to save her, and she's fallen in love with him, and now she wants to marry him, but the deal is that she can't ask where he came from or even what his name is. It's a sort of a heavenly Rumpelstiltskin story. And of course, she can't, just like Orpheus can't avoid turning around to look at Eurydice and she disappears, the same thing happens in this case. I mean, she can't avoid asking him who he is and where he came from because she's going to marry him, and then that's the end of the marriage. But this is as she is walking toward the marriage. And I was looking for a picture of it, and I found one from Oslo Opera from a production they did. It's a little hard to see from here. It looks like she's about to marry some sort of albino big bird. I mean, like he's covered in swan feathers. But anyway, it is a real flute solo, and it's got this big contingent of winds in a chorale below you. And so although it's marked piano, it has to be intense and a little bit louder than piano so that it really leads this contingent. And also, again, as with the Bizet Carmen, you want to keep it in a sort of a two, so it swings back and forth. And really, I think the tempo and even the shape of the melody is very similar. Can you play the beginning of Carmen again? The entr'acte. Yeah. And two. Good. Now let's go back to Elsa's prayer. And I'm sure, he didn't have it in his mind, but it's the same key and it's even the same notes. Mi, fa, la, do, do, si. And I think if you think of it in mi, fa, la, do, do, it'll be easier to play. And keep the sound spinning so it's always the solo voice. This tempo, it's a processional, and you can see her walking to it. If it gets too slow, then it feels like it's, she's crawling to her wedding, which is not an image we enjoy. Now, you've played it very nicely. I want you to play it a little softer than that now, because it is marked piano. But he marks it all of these ups and downs, and if the sound can have the same kind of spin to it, then I think you'll have it. The last element in this is going to be the pitch. It's in a key just like the Bizet Carmen excerpt E flat, which is not so nice on the flute. And so you have to check your first note to make sure that you really are at the right place. I think, again, as we were talking about earlier, if you play with your spine a little bit more straight and play a little bit more out this way, it may help. Would you just play an E flat, And play with the vibrato that you're going to use when you begin to play the piece. Right, and play me the first chord. Right, yeah, it has to be at least that high, and I would say slightly higher. Mi, so it reaches out. It's, you know, you are sitting on top of all these wind players, and although it's piano, you have to bring your attention, our attention, to you. Okay. Now I feel it gets into 4 again. Keep it in 2. Mi, fa, la, do, do, si. Ecstatic, you know. It's Lohengrin. It's full of, you know, and Parsifal too. These spiritually elevated moments, and this is one of them. It's one of these melodies that's difficult to play because the phrases are very long, and it's in a sort of an ungracious key for the flute. So you really have to be very careful when you practice it to make sure that you're playing it with your spine straight and playing out so that it doesn't get to be a little bit on the dark side. Okay, but that's much better. Okay, thank you. I think we have about